Alright, hey everyone, welcome back. It's DannyXander here. Tonight we'll be building a lush evolving pad in Reaktor in under a few minutes. So, think ambient film score meets late night synthwave, and I'll show you how to get those moving textures without using any presets. So, we're gonna we've brought in our Reaktor, our version of Reaktor here. We're gonna use this to design a sound that we're gonna use in our productions. So, pads are sustained tones and they have slow movement. So we'll start out with a couple of oscillators to build this out for richness, and I'm going to use a saw wave for this. So let's dive right in. Bring an oscillator, bring another oscillator. Let's rename them. So we have two oscillators now, and I'm going to use one as a saw, and one is going to be a triangle wave. So triangle looks like that. So we have two different waveforms here, one triangle, one saw, and we're going to lay them for warmth. So we'll bring in a mix module, we'll mix these two together as we patch, and then we can hear the output now. We don't even need the VCA, we can just output and listen to it. I'm just going to turn on the speakers. If you need to turn on your speakers, yep, I turned them down for you, so that's fine. It's going to be a little sharp. So that's our initial tone. A little bit annoying, so we want to change that and make it a little bit less less annoying. So I'm going to cut out some of the highs. I'm going to add in a filter. I'm going to put it through a VCA and a filter. So we're going to bring in our filter here, and we'll go through to this, and then we will take a listen. So we're going to need an envelope so we can control the gate opening and closing of the volume threshold. So I brought that in. And we got some sound. So you can see that we have some sound, and we have two waveforms blended into one. I'm just going to bring in a scope so you can visualize that waveform. And you can take a look. So we have a waveform right there. That looks good to me. Now we're going to continue, and let's add a little subtle movement with an LFO. I'll bring in an LFO module. We'll use that to modulate our filter movement. So we want to modulate the filter movement over time because we want our sound to be evolving. We don't want it to just be static. So you can hear that. Hopefully you can hear that now. And we can speed up the LFO movement. Make it like an on-off switch or a ramp in either direction, or random. For now I'm going to choose the random waveform, and then let's do a little bit of a gentler drift so it doesn't drift so quick. And then we're going to put a different waveform. Okay, so now let's add some atmosphere to our pad. So the pad gets magical when you layer modulation. So let's add a little bit of filter and modulation. So we're going to bring in some resonance. And then I'm going to bring in some reverb. So we're going to use our blocks. We're going to bring in some reverb. like so. And we'll bring that to the end of our chain, bringing in some reverb and using that to create more of an atmosphere. So we want a little bit of delay too, because I want to add some more space around it, some stereo width around our sound. So we want that key press to be longer. So it's going to be sharper as we press the lower keys. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we captured. Okay, let's loop that. I want to add a little bit of bassiness to this. I'm going to mix in another oscillator to give us a lower tone. Or we can check here. Let's see. Give some width. Okay, let's add another oscillator. And we'll call this oscillator 3. Organize our panel a little bit so our oscillators are in order. We need to use a sine for this. And I'm going to turn up the volume on that third oscillator so we get another underlayer. Bring our VCA to the end and turn it up. Okay, we got a more of a evolving pad now. I'm going to wash it in a little more delay. Or some verb. Okay, we're going to add a utility. I want to bring the volume up. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of another texture to this. That's not what I wanted. Okay, we can add a little texture. We'll try something else. I'm gonna go straight to the maybe some retro. Just playing around with the textures now. Let's see what else we can do. That's before. Okay, I'm just looking for something else we can use. Okay, so looking for my other plugin. Yep, that's okay. Okay, not seeing it now, but that's fine. Oops, what just happened to my sound? There we go. Might have emptied my Reaktor patch. Oh boy, that's why you always save it before you do that. Because I actually deleted my Reaktor patch. So we're going to have to rebuild that. Oh man, okay. Just going to build the basic structure of it. It might not be the exact same sound, but I'm going to try to get close. Okay, and then we had a filter. Kind of rebuilding to demonstrate the build process of just putting together your patch, building your sound out. Okay, so we're going to use a basic version. Okay, one is going to be a triangle, or a saw, triangle, sine, so on 16, LFO was on the filter, and there's a little bit of modulation happening around 2 kilohertz, and we had a envelope on the end. So we're like about 80 to 90% back to what we had before. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and save that. Okay, so we're gonna take that. We're gonna add some chords. I'm gonna figure out our key. So it says we're in B major. So for this, we're gonna have to choose. I'll do an update. That's fine. Let's just see what we got here. Okay, let's add in some drums. Just to demonstrate this on the loop. take this part and chop it off, or do a cut in both sections, and we're gonna bring it to the end, and we'll play from here. Let's just demonstrate this. Hit record. Okay, we're gonna grab the EQ. So EQ. Okay, we're gonna add some drums onto this. Okay, we're gonna bring our metronome on, and we will get these parts going. Simple part, or more simple part, we're just gonna add in some drums. That's actually not a sound, it's a sample. Or a, not an instrument, it's a sample. So I have an idea of a drum pattern. Just gonna bring the volume down. And duplicate the part. Okay, I don't like that. Just gonna find a kick sound that I like. Okay. 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 Here we're going to change up the sound once, just to go into the next section. So I'm gonna bring in another instrument, just a layer. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make this the audio track. Okay. Gonna resample from 39. Okay, so there we go. We have an audio track version of this that we can manipulate as much as we want. So I'll just call this a glitch. I'm just gonna rename the audio file. Call this glitch. Just rename. Command R. We'll name this glitch step. Should rename the clip as well. Okay, so we're gonna go into that arterial collection. I'm gonna grab another layer. Something that sounds pretty cool. I think it'll be useful. Okay, so let's bring this here. we're getting some clashing sounds, so let's mute that one. Okay, so there we have it. We have an ambient lush pad in Reaktor, created from scratch. Something we used in our production to create this lush little mini production. We used 3 oscillators, a mixer, a filter, LFO, envelope, and a VCA to create our sound from scratch. And if you're into learning how to build your own sounds like this, I do like these streams. And my full masterclass goes way, way deeper. Links in the description. And I'll see you tomorrow in the next live stream. Peace out.